So Goku commences his battle with Jiren by hitting headshots with his ki blast, mistakenly thinking this was a dodgeable tournament instead of fighting for his universe's survival. Jiren just stands there looking unfazed, but Goku resumes peppering him with ki attacks to create a smokescreen, and he leaps at the opportunity to knock the living daylights out of him.
Are you serious, my brother?
Jiren counterattacks, sending the Saiyan into a rock, displeased that he keeps spamming square triangle. However, Goku still thinks that there's a wall he needs to overcome, so he powers up even further to muster all the strength he can at the cost of his physical health. Tien then puts the pieces together, realizing that Goku is using a tactic similar to the Kaioken, so the Saiyan gets down to business by giving Jiren a gut check, but also being kind enough to let him take in the scenery. Unfortunately, both attacks had no effect on the fighter, and Jiren proceeds to critique Goku's Neanderthal fighting style, noting that it's similar to what Kale was doing earlier. Meanwhile, Master Roshi's got Casserole on the ropes, and he's so lost at how someone with a power level of 5 is embarrassing him. Roshi advises him to not rely on that scouter of his, but Casserole is not here to be lectured, so he attempts to strike Roshi head on, and the Pride Trooper fell for the oldest trick in the book, because Roshi full on sweeps his legs and hits him with a karate chop to banish him to the Shadow Realm. Roshi notices that Goku is struggling against his foe, whilst observing that his student is still the unfinished product. Roshi didn't ask Goku on what strength means to him, but Goku just assumes that he needs a greater power beyond Super Saiyan Blue. Roshi's flabbergasted that Goku has that sort of mindset after everything he's taught him, and he warns the Saiyan that he will always remain as a novice if he keeps thinking about his opponent's power level. These words strike Goku with a moment of realization, which triggers the memories to flood back of the teachings that his past mentors gave him before. Lastly, Whis advises Goku in a flashback to move his body on instinct, and Roshi notices that Goku is in the right frame of mind to teach him one final lesson on how to move well. Jiren's about to knock him straight back to the retirement home, but unexpectedly Roshi seamlessly evades his punch. Jiren then thought that dodge was a fluke, but Roshi continues to gracefully evade all of his attacks, and it's even got Beerus worried that a mere earthling is using that godly technique. Unfortunately, Jiren has seen through Roshi's evasion, and Whis states that those maneuvers have a slight resemblance but ultimately are just a cheap knockoff. Roshi then tells his student to look into his heart to find the answer that he's looking for, and valiantly rushes at Jiren one more time before being karate chopped and sent out the ring. The Universe 11 fighter is disappointed that Goku's master still needs to hold his hand, and tells Goku that a man like himself will never achieve perfection. The Saiyan does not want to be like Cell, because that would mean standing in place, and that contradicts his ethos of always aiming higher. Goku then compliments Roshi for being such an amazing master, and puts the blame on himself for being such a terrible student. Jiren is now ready to end Goku's yapping, but the Saiyan utters one more sentence affirming that even after reaching such amazing levels of power, he will always remain a Son Goku of the Turtle School. In the blink of an eye, Goku evades Jiren's attack and stares out at the void in complete awe. Once again, Goku has transcended the mortal plane, finally utilizing the ultimate technique that allows for one's body to move subconsciously, Ultra Instinct. Jiren can tell that Goku has overcome his hurdle and is ready to put him out of his misery, so the two fighters charge at each other and are ready to settle the score as if it was Dragon Ball Super episode 110.
Wait a minute!
Whis snips that Ultra Instinct is such a difficult technique to master, observing that this is Goku's first time tapping into the ability. So the Angel speculates that Goku was using the light version of Ultra Instinct, more commonly known as Ultra Instinct Sign. Vegeta is now vexed that Goku has surpassed him again whilst he struggles against Toppo, and quite literally whines like a baby to produce an immense navy aura, pushing Toppo out of the arena. Vegeta now has a darker shade of blue hair, revealing that he has now reached Super Saiyan Blue evolution. So you mean to tell me that Vegeta has pulled a new form just because Goku lives in his head rent-free like how Dan TDM does in KSI's head? The Prince then tunnel visions for Jiren to knee him in the cheek, and extends his combo by kicking him into the stratosphere, just to only smack Jiren into the granite again. Jiren then avoids taking full damage and wonders if Vegeta is in pursuit of the same technique as Goku, but the Prince gives him a big fat no, elaborating that the mere thought of getting taught by someone else does not suit him, because at the end of the day he wants to reach the summit by playing by his own rules instead. Vegeta then attempts to break Jiren's guard whilst asking if he's ever put his body on the line, and Jiren ends up holding the block button for too long like your typical Xenoverse player, causing the fighter's stamina to break, allowing for Vegeta to deliver a kick. The Prince then has the nerve to diss the Tenkaichi Budokais as if Goku was fighting in a school playground, because he thinks it's the undeniable truth that he's been pushed to his limits far more than Goku has, and for the billionth time he starts waving around his royalty card. I swear to God, please just let it go already. Anywho, Jiren now acknowledges Vegeta as a worthy fighter, but in the same second he violates the Prince by fracturing his skull, telling him to reset his expectations. Jiren then makes their power gap even more evident by making the Prince do roly-polies. And at the same time, he answers Vegeta's previous question, clarifying that he never makes any wasted movements no matter how weak the enemy is. And Jiren's been able to get this down to a T, which is all thanks to his master. Meanwhile, Toppo's watching the battle unfold as if he's in a movie theatre, and he's frustrated that the Pride Troopers pale in comparison to the Power Rangers. But out of nowhere, Frieza starts dribbling the Pride Trooper around as if he was prepping for a UCL game. Manga Toppo has now cemented himself as a disgrace to his anime counterpart, but Dispo hops in like a true friend to save Toppo from the embarrassment of being eliminated. This unintentionally had the effect of killing two birds with one stone, because Frieza jumps back into the main arena and destroys the platforms of the Roblox lobby to stop them from returning. And to top it all off, the Emperor begins to laser their platform as well. Honestly, the foul stuff that Frieza is doing right here is something that I'd expect to see in epic minigames. 17 advises Frieza to not play with his food, and Dispo is so desperate that he starts dialing 999 for Jiren to rescue them. Goku then takes advantage of the ensuing chaos by teleporting Vegeta out of the way, so Jiren turns his attention to 17 and Frieza. Dispo then requests his teammate to assist getting them back into the ring. However, Jiren had gone out of his way to get to their location only to tell them both,
I don't really feel like it.
and eventually the platform splits in two, causing both Toppo and Dispo to be eliminated. Jiren's now the last fighter remaining, and Frieza calls him out for getting both of his teammates sent to the gulag, so the Emperor powers up to his golden form, but Jiren still has him outclassed. And Whis even points out that Frieza continues to throw hands even though he knows he's outmatched. The Emperor then takes a glance to his right to see that time is nearly up, and Jiren catches on to his plan, so he blows up the ground beneath Frieza's feet. The Pride Trooper is moments away from knocking out Frieza, but 17 jumps in to take the full force of the blow. Afterwards, he requests his twin sister and Krillin to look after his wife and 3 kids, which 18 agrees to, not thinking much of what he said. With that matter settled, 17 is curious if Jiren is here to fight for his universe's survival, or get a wish granted by the dragon. Jiren simply desires for both, which aligns with what 17 wants, so the android powers up to sacrifice himself for the sake of his universe, his planet, and most importantly, his family.
It's me, Carl. Chill.
Krillin doesn't know what he's supposed to tell 17's wife and kids, but even worse, Jiren walks out of the crater looking completely unscathed. The rules don't mention anything about a contestant self-destructing, so the Grand Priest encourages the Omni Kings to not punish Universe 7 to continue the tournament. Witnessing 17's death actually troubles Jiren, and he's even more motivated to finish them off right now, but Goku looks at the Pride Trooper with a somber expression because 17 turned out to be a good guy in the end. But Saiyan then understands that his problems won't vanish away if he gets angry about the situation, and in that moment he transforms into Ultra Instinct Saiyan once more, vowing he won't disappoint anyone ever again. Prior to this, Kale was going on a complete rampage, so click here to find out how she violated the whole multiverse.